Hello everyone, Deadeye here, and now that it's live, let's go over the Surf and Storm update, the Corsair, the second part of the Summer Directive, and also how to get a free gun. Right on, huh? Okay, first, I know you want that free gun, so I'll put it in my video straight away. Use the redemption code SURF2022 in the store, and you get a platinum version of the Swordfish. It's an amphibious rifle, and you're probably going to want at least one of those now that underwater combat is a bigger part of Oshur. But more on that later. Unknown now how long that code will be active, so make sure to get on that. Alright. With this update comes the Corsair, of course, the first naval vehicle. Since I last talked about it, they've tweaked the speed, the reversing speed, and how it generally floats and sits in the water. It's in a much better place now, so probably going to want to put some certs into it, or at least get used to it, right? As for how I'd cert it, basically treat it like a battle Sunday. Put your faction-specific basilisks on it. In this case, I probably put the speed chassis. I don't really see the agility chassis being important at any point. Maybe more testing will change that. We shall see. Get either the repair or the resupply, and probably fire suppression over chaff. If you're a little bit low on certs, hey, I understand that. You can stick with the regular basilisk. It's actually pretty dang good, especially with competent gunners. The catapult system that it comes with, very fun, but at the moment I actually don't see it being a huge game changer on the battlefield. And that's because the Corsair is actually very vulnerable compared to the Sunday. You know, it's harder for an infantry unit to defend, and it's harder for an infantry to repair, actually. I could be wrong. It really just seems like a fun tactic for squads to use. We shall see, though, with more testing. Speaking of more testing, the reworked Oshur lattice is now in, and it seems much better, at least on first glance. It now has more interconnected bases, and this is making Oshur feel more like the other continents. But of course, more experience is going to be required on Oshur to really form an opinion on the lattice. The only thing I'm thinking is maybe Tridents should be able to spawn Corsairs. Right now they can't, but all of the Tridents are surrounded by seapost bases which can spawn Corsairs. Of course, Corsairs, you can't really you can't really launch people up to the landing pad, at least in my experience you can't. Maybe someone more talented can. But maybe Tridents should be able to spawn Corsairs so they can go outwards. Perhaps. We shall see. Speaking of these sea posts, underwater combat is here, and I'm liking it quite a lot so far. That's because it has a very different flavor than other types of infantry combat, I should say. You have to aim differently. With regular weapons, there's a lot of bullet drop, and if you're using an amphibious weapon, there's much less bullet drop. When you're trying to combat with maxes, very different to attack them or use them. Suppressors are actually very effective underwater, even more so, because there's, already sound dampening, so even more sound dampening with a suppressor. Crazy effective underwater. It's all a very unique fight. You get people zipping around on the mobility devices, you got them falling in from above. It's all very fun so far. The bases are very different. It's great. But speaking of, the mobility device, I feel, is a priority unlock, especially if you are a medic main, to get you around the battlefield. I just wish the mobility device was easier to use. It's a little bit clunky to switch over to 6 and move around and use it. That number's not always the same for every class, depending on your loadout. I also wish it had more vertical lift, but it's okay right now. It's not an expensive unlock. It's 50 certs, I believe. You can stick with just level 1, it's fine. Alright, let's go to the second part of the Summer Directive. Like the first part, you're not going to want to sleep on this. It's limited to 2 weeks, supposed to end on July 27th. In the game, it's listed as ending on the 20th. I don't know about that, probably just a mistake. But regardless, you're gonna not want to sleep on this because you are getting rewarded with a unique pistol at the very end of it. It's easier this time around, so that's great. It has 4 requirements, like last time. Beat the heat and summer support requirements return. For beat the heat, my strat is just to use the soaker pistol, get ambush kills or steal kills from other people. It's not that bad. Summer support, you need to resupply or repair while you're in a vehicle. They lowered the difficulty on this last event, but it's still one of the slower ones to do. In my limited testing, this didn't actually seem to trigger when using the Corsair repair. This could just be a bug, or I could just not have tried it enough. That's just right now my limited experience before doing this video. Onto the new requirements, they have Tour Guide, which is drive with a passenger. Real easy, no problem, do that. Super easy. Cannonball, which is get kills after using the Catapult. That's kind of easy. It's like vehicle assist, basically for yourself, in a weird way. The other two new ones are mechs related. So Crashing Waves is get kills with or of mexes, straightforward. And, big deal, the Mini Alert Maximum Pressure. Participate in the Maximum Pressure Mini Alert with a minimum of 50% participation, which should be 15 minutes. Right, what that means is the Maximum Pressure Mini Alert is back. Just a quick refresher, during this alert, maxes are free, and the winner is the faction with the most kills. Simple, right? The alert is supposed to trigger once after a continent unlocks. I can understand that can be difficult for some people. You're not always online on the game. So, for this event directive, I'd focus on Beat the Heat, Tour Guide, Crashing Waves. Those three all seem the easiest. And then I'd probably focus on Cannonball. That seems the least effort for me, but of course Cannonball is dependent on being Oshur, so you might want to focus on summer support if you don't have time to always be on when Oshur is on. Okay, let's round out this video with bug fixes and changes. The big deal in bug fixes is the spawn beacons have been fixed. If you didn't know, you could bypass the spawn timer by spam clicking the icon on the map. This was a big deal actually. Everyone is exploiting it and it was very annoying to fight against. I don't think everyone knew about it unfortunately, but it's been fixed now. Don't have to worry about it anymore. They also fixed loadouts which were reverting to like default. This was happening to me on a few characters. Very annoying. Happily it's been fixed. Also apparently Esamir has water again. That continent wasn't unlocked at the time of recording this footage, so I didn't get to see any. But what it means is you no longer die when touching it. That's nice. There's no Corsairs or anything, and I don't think there's really any focus on underwater combat or anything like that in Esamir. But it's just good to know that you won't be dying instantly. Other continents are going to get this later. We'll see how they start changing other continents now that water physics, water combat, and technically a naval vehicle is available. It's not available yet for other continents, but we shall see anyways. River combat, anyone? We'll see. Also, male and female voice packs have now been consolidated, but that's only for new purchases. One part of that's nice, the second part of that's a bummer. There are other changes and other bug fixes. Check out the full patch notes for those details. That was the big stuff, I feel. This has been Deadeye. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, do please subscribe. Daily uploads on this channel. Mostly Let's Plays and Quick Plays. Do Planetside 2 content when there is something to talk about. Right? That's it for me. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope to see you all soon. Bye-bye now.